So a flipped classroom is basically you take notes online at the evening before class, and so you have the lecture before you get to class, and when you get to class you can ask questions. We work on a worksheet or stations or something that can synthesize that knowledge from the video from the night before.
My favorite part about flipped classrooms is that we do videos at night, which is basically kind of our homework, and then what's supposed to be our homework is classwork, and we just turn it at the end of class.
I would describe flipped classroom as a new opportunity because it's a new way to learn, and what you do is you take notes at home because your teacher, she makes a video on what the topic is, and then in class you work on that topic with her, like homework, but obviously it's in class.
So a flipped classroom is where instead of kids coming to class and listening to a lecture and taking notes, then taking problems to work for homework, instead what they do is at night they watch a video that basically is the new material lesson that they would be getting in class. So what they'll do is their homework every night actually is to go home and take notes, and then when they come into class the next day they're going to do some sort of activity that normally would be the kind of practice problems you take home. So they get to work on those practice problems in class with the teacher there instead of taking them home with no help.
So what our teacher does is she creates worksheets that have to do with the concept that we watched last night so that we can see how much of it that we understand and exactly what to do in certain situations.
So there are a lot of different things that you can say as a benefit of a flipped class. So the first one is that you always know that you're going to have, 10 to 20 minutes of homework every night for math instead of having, 3 hours of really hard questions to do. You're going to watch 10 minutes of a video and then be done with it. And so it's really good for people who are in a lot of extracurriculars or play sports, because then, you have time when you get home.
So 2 of my pre-calc classes are the flip model. Which means that 2 of those classes, they'll go online to my website, they'll click on a link for the video that night, they'll watch that video, and then they come back to class the next day, and the first thing I do instead of checking homework is I actually go through and I check to see they have their notes, make sure they've taken their notes and things like that. Then during the class, it's basically like a group tutoring session throughout the class period. So we're always working in small groups, so they're always working with their classmates, and I get to float around from group to group and answer questions that come up instead of kids having to come in on their own to tutoring.
I feel like students in my flipped classes have a deeper understanding of the information because they actually get a chance to practice more so, and math is all about practice. And so with all of the times that they're working problems and doing it and having help from not just me but from their peers, I think it solidifies all the information inside their head, and so you get a better understanding of the topic at hand.
We get to work as a table together, and the teacher walks around helping the people that need help.
So one of the huge benefits is that, especially in the upper level math classes, it's hard to get help at home. A lot of parents, even though they've taken these math classes, it's been several years since they've done something like pre-cal, for example, and you forget a lot of the little things. So a lot of times kids will listen in class, pay attention, they think they understand it, then they go home and sit down with the homework and they realize I have no idea what's going on, and they have to wait until the next day, or they have to try and send an email and try and get answers, and it gets really frustrating for kids. So by having the flipped class instead, when the kids are actually working on the practice problems, they actually have a teacher right there with them to help, and they actually have their classmates there with them too. So they don't need to make a study group or anything like that. They already have their study group with them every single day in class. So they have help available when they're doing the work as opposed to when they're trying to learn the new material.
I'm Ms. Karutko, and I teach a flipped classroom.
Hi, I'm Mrs. Baker, and I teach a flipped classroom.